Before we start this podcast, I want to definitely remind you of a sponsor for Fresh of the Word, 20 by 20 Apparel. Founded in 2015, 20 by 20 Apparel brings original tributes to pro wrestling's classic arenas, moments, and events. They look to spotlight the bloopers, bleeps, and body slams along with the biggest, smallest, strangest, and strongest. In the world of wrestling where there's hundreds of shirts, promotions, flyers, social media accounts, and ads, don't get lost in the sea of parody shirts and display fonts. They can provide professional graphic design services at a reasonable price. 20 by 20 also hand screen prints all the tees in-house. So if you'd like to discuss a possible run of tees, posters, koozies, foam fingers, or even Zubaz, then drop them a line at 20by20apparel.com. That's the number 20x, the number 20apparel.com. And also check out their enamel pin line. It's super cool.
Fresh is the word.
I'm Jim Duggan, got long wood for plenty hoes. I keep it fresher than fresh, but you already know. You suckers bummy, I'm money, I got a ton of flows. My weed loud like a motherfucking thunder roll. Your shit quiet like you ballin' on a budget though. We see your kicks and we laugh and yellin' what are those. You see me shining like a suit on puffy. You know my grindin' shit is too strong, buddy. That's why the dude call money. I be stuntin' like it's nothing at all. Cause it's nothing to me, it's probably something to y'all. Trying to smoke like me, then come and fuck with your dog. Got a closet full of kicks, you can't cop it tomorrow. And I'm fresher than the freshest, you can tell it's in my essence. Bitch, you see the way I'm rapping, yes I do this shit to death. I tell I'm running out of breath, I tell somebody cut a check. But either way you know it's fresh, and either way you know it's fresh. Fresh, we fresh. Fresh, 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 goddammit, we fresh. Fresh, fresh, goddammit, we so damn fresh.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Fresh of the Word podcast. I'm your host, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier, and we got a good show for you today. We got this great band from Spain, Diabulus and Musica, and I have two of the members here with me today, Gorka and Zuba.
How are you doing? Nice to meet you.
Oh, great. You guys have a new album out, Euphonic Entropy. It came out on Valentine's Day.
Yes.
I already did, I gave it a listen already, and it's great. I love the story behind it. First off, this album, you two are a husband and wife duo, a part of this band, and this album is about the life changes of having your second child. So kind of go into, what you put in, into this album, and, why did you want to release it on Valentine's Day?
Well, that decision wasn't ours, but but it's very appropriate because, of course, the album is talking about both of us, about our situation as a family, as artists. So coming out the 14th February is like a coincidence, but a very cool one, indeed. So, yeah. Yeah, well, it wasn't an easy album to compose, and because you can imagine at home we are working at home. We have a little home studio, and we had to work with our kids there, so it wasn't easy.
Listening them crying and and it's like, oh, please, I need 10 minutes, of silence. It was like impossible. If you listen care to the album, probably you will listen them, around there, probably.
When, as being a husband and wife, a part of a band, but then also going through these this time in your lives when you're having children, how does that sort of affect yourselves personally, when you're a part of each other's lives so much, then you're having these life-changing events that will also, like you're already saying, that they're there when you're recording the album.
Yeah, well, at the beginning, it wasn't with the first child. It wasn't so difficult because it was just one, and we didn't stop making music. When I was pregnant, we were on tour, and when when my baby boy, the first one, was born, we were about to start the recordings, I guess.
Yeah, of our previous album, yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't have much time to think, or we just did things as we had to do, and it was all. But after, with my second pregnancy, it was very different because you have to take care of a 3-year-old little child. So it wasn't just both of us and the baby. It was the boy and the baby and ourselves. So it was quite difficult. But anyway, we were really looking forward to writing new music because it has been 3 years now since we released our previous album. So we were really eager to do more and to write more songs and on that. So we felt really motivated, and we started the process, and with no stress. I mean, we said, okay, we will release an album when we are sure that the music we are doing is good enough. So we just start writing, and then we said, okay, I think we have an album. And yeah, I think it turned out really, really great. Even if sometimes you lose the nerves and you are you don't know what the hell to do, because it's like probably I must think about not doing music anymore or not having more children in my life. Well, that's for sure. We won't have more because it's enough with 2. But no, we are very happy. I mean, our kids are wonderful, and we are very happy. I think that it's a very strong source of inspiration. Sorry, having the children and our personal relationship and everything. It's also a strong source of inspiration. Yeah.
But it's difficult to work with them around, because usually during the day you cannot work on your music because they are around there and they ask for attention.
Yeah, obviously.
And so I think that this album was written, well, not completely, but probably most of the parts were written during the night, at 2:00 in the morning or something like that. So it has been a hard album because we had many ideas, things that we wanted to change, to improve, and we had to wait, I don't know, maybe 2, 3, 4 days to work on that.
Start working on that.
Exactly. So
you cannot do things as before. And then before you said, okay, I'm going to spend the whole day in the studio, and you just sat down and start working. But we cannot do that anymore. Yeah. So we probably work half an hour a day. Another day we do nothing. Another day we just find 1 hour. And so the way of working is different, but I think we have found also the balance because our personal lives are very important for us too, and we don't want our children to be with nobody else, so that we can work. So we try to find the moment, and that's all. That way we can be with our children every day, and we can work also. It's not easy, but well, I think that we found the balance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How are you able to sort of, keep those new ideas fresh in your mind if you weren't able to immediately work on them?
You sometimes using the mobile
phone.
Ooh, yeah. I have an awesome idea, and then 4 days later you listen to it and it's like, oh,
this is shit.
Yeah, no,
how goes that?
Yeah, but well, seriously, I think that, well, once you have time to start working on an idea, I think that that we how could I say, we have improved a lot the way of how we write the songs. You know, it's not as Tura said. In the previous album, you spend the whole afternoon, even the evening, to work on an idea. But here it's like, okay, we have to throw ideas.
You are more focused.
Exactly.
On what you are doing.
We don't like this little part of the song. Okay, let's go for it. Not trying to do some jam.
No, just it's working on specific things that you know you can do on that moment. And we have been much more focused than before.
Yeah,
that's
we spent more time from the beginning till the end. But if you only look for the time that we have worked on the album, it was not that much. You know, we were very focused and well, for example, there was a song that we wrote like 3 verses because we didn't like the first one, and it was like, okay, I have this idea, Zuberoa or Gorka, do you like it? Yes, no, let's try to change this and that.
Yeah, and when you feel blocked, you just have to wait for 1 month and let the song rest there, and then you take it again 1 month after, and in 1 day you can finish it.
Yeah,
that it all depends on how your mind is focus on that moment, because you can spend 1 week and do nothing and spend 5 minutes and do everything. So I think it's very important the motivation you have when you are writing music.
From a more personal standpoint, being parents, what is really important to you in regards to your relationship with your children?
For me, the most important thing is being with them, because I've seen many parents who are always letting their children with the grandparents, or above all when you are artist and you have to travel and all that. In our case, we cannot leave them. Well, we could leave them with the grandparents, but I don't think it's a good idea. Children have to be with where their parents are. So in our case, when a musician, the couple of a musician is not musician, it's easy because you can go on tour and then you left the children with your husband or whatever. But in our case, that we are both of us doing the same thing, then we always try to bring the children with us, because we think it's very important that they live the same life you have. It has no sense to keep them apart from what you are doing. Because for me, the most important thing is to stay the family together, and so that also they can learn from us, from our jobs, from our above all from
what we like.
Yeah, what we like, and also how we are as persons. They must feel that they are really loved, and that we want them to stay with us. Always, no matter if we are working or if we are traveling or whatever.
We didn't decide to have children to not being with them. We want to share our life with them. Actually, in the last tour, we came with our little boy. Now he is 3 years old, and he came with my mother. So it was like all the family on tour. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult. You cannot do that always, but when it is possible, we try to do it.
Yeah.
That idea of just having your children with you all the time, just to have them experience the same thing you're experiencing, where does that come from? Is that a part of the culture there in Spain?
Not exactly, but it's true that in Spain, family is very important. I think that it's a Mediterranean thing. We always, all the weekends, we go to have lunch with our grandparents, or with Gorka's parents, with my parents, with my aunts. So we are not a very big family, but our relationship is really, really close. I think that I haven't seen that in other countries. I see that many people get independent very soon, Here we couldn't do that because the flats and the houses are really expensive. So we had to wait until we had almost, I don't know,
33 years old.
30 years old. So yeah, it's true. We couldn't go out from home because if you rent a flat, it's really expensive. It's almost the same thing as if you are buying it. So we had to wait. And
yeah, the same things happen over here in the States. People having trouble, going out on their own until later in life. It's honestly not that much different here.
Yeah, I think it's a global problem, but
I think in Europe, in other countries, people are getting independent much earlier, sooner than here. But anyway, it's true that the culture of the family is very important here in this area, in Spain and also in the north of Spain. We are very connected with our roots and all that. So yeah, I think it's probably part of our culture as well.
Is both sides of your families close? How close are you with your family, your cousins, your parents, and whatnot?
Yeah, we are very close to all of them. In my case, I have a bigger family than Zuberoa's family, but
very big one.
Yeah,
with lots of cousins.
Yeah, it's difficult to maintain the you don't have the same relation with all of them because I have like 24 cousins, so it's like
right.
It's horrible. We have a a WhatsApp group and we chat a lot.
Okay.
But anyway, we always try at least during the Christmas or during we always try once or twice per year to have a big lunch with my grandmother, and every time. Also, we are not living very far. They are.
Yeah, we live in a small city.
And they are 40
from
kilometers far, and it's easy to find them if you need something or hey, let's go for a walk or let's do something. It's easy to.
Yeah,
to
we live very close to each other.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned before how just in your country, that you're very tied to your roots. What does that mean? What parts of your roots do you feel really connected to?
Well, in my case, my family comes from the Pyrenees, here in Navarre, in the north. I feel very connected with nature and with mountains, and with the culture as well, because my family comes from a really small village. And the lifestyle there is still kind of ancient, but not exactly. But there are still many people who is working in the countryside, and for example, they make cheese in the old style and all that. I really love to see that. Still those ancient traditions are alive, and actually our culture is the Basque culture, which is really ancient. Our language is one of the oldest languages in Europe, so I think it's very important to preserve because it's a cultural treasure. So it's and we feel proud of our origins and.
Yeah, in my case, language is very important. My grandfather, he almost didn't speak Spanish because he was born. His mother tongue is Basque, and sometimes it was hard to to talk with him because my father speaks both Spanish and Basque, but because of several social things. He decided not to speak me in Basque, but anyway, I feel Basque as my mother tongue, and I think it's very important. As Zura said, is one of the oldest language in Europe, and I think
the
it's very
culture
important.
and the culture in general, I feel that it's special because it's very different from the rest of cultures you get here in Spain. For example, the Basque culture is I don't know the word in English, but matriarchal.
Yeah, around the mother.
Yeah. While most of the cultures here are around the male
Yes.
member of the family.
Yeah,
You know, so
patriarchal. Yeah.
Here is the opposite. Is the female is the important one in
Oh,
the.
that's nice.
So I think that it's very different because this is something that comes from a very ancient culture, which is related with the Mother Earth and all that. So, and this is something that is not alive nowadays, because most of the cultures here in Europe, as I said, are male oriented. I don't know how to explain this in English. It's difficult for
I don't
me.
know if there is a word.
It's like a patriarch. Yeah.
Yeah, but you understand the
Yes,
idea.
yes, I do. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that this is also a difference that is important to understand and to preserve. Yeah.
Talk more about, the effects of being around a culture that is centered around, the mother, a female-driven society. Talk about that.
Oh well, there is much to talk about this because we still live in a society where the machismo. How do you say this?
I don't know.
Well, where females, we are still underrated or
Yeah.
a sexist society. Yeah,
Sexist, misogynistic, yeah.
So it's very difficult to explain all that.
But how do better question is how do you sort of balance having these roots, being in touch with these sort of ancient customs that you hold very dearly when technology is out there and become more and more prevalent into society?
Oh yeah, of course, it's something different. We live in the present. We are not like the ¿cómo se llaman los Amish?
Amish.
We are not Amish. Of course, we like technology, but
we use it a lot.
We use it.
Yeah, we're using it right now to talk. Yeah,
we cannot live without it. But it's true that you sometimes need to disconnect and say, okay, in my case, I go to the mountains. I really like to do climbing and trekking, and I love sports. So in my case, I just need to reconnect with mountains and nature, and because it's something I really need for my internal peace. Otherwise, otherwise with all the stress every day, you have to work, you have to be with the children, you have to do many things at home, and it's crazy. So I sometimes say, okay, today we go to the mountains and we spend 8 hours just walking and walking and walking.
Oh, that sounds great. Maybe tiring, but great.
Yeah. The rest is the thing of traditions and all that is not something that we do at home. I mean, I just like to see that they are alive, and I try to preserve them, but just knowing they exist, so that they don't get lost. And that's all. We are not living in the previous centuries, no.
Yeah, we are people from the 21st century.
Yeah, right.
But don't forget the roots. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's still nice to be a part of what's going on today. But like you said, just walking into the mountains and being aware still keeps that stuff alive.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is also necessary to understand why we are as we are now. If you don't know your past, you cannot understand the present. It's like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Doesn't matter what culture you come from. If you if you don't know where you're from, you don't know where you've been.
Of course. Yeah, exactly.
Let's talk more about the Basque language, because there's songs written on this the new album that you written in the Basque language. I did a little research on it, and this is, like you said, an ancient language or historical language of your area that in certain aspects got outlawed, I guess, or there was laws changed to where they're not going to use this language anymore. A lot of things happened with this language. Kind of, you're probably better at talking about it, but what's the sort of the historical significance of it, and why did you feel that you needed to write songs in that language on this album?
Well, this language have many different varieties because it was spoken between France and Spain in 7 different regions. So there are many differences. It depends on the area where it is spoken. So they had to, as it was about to disappear, they had to decide and create a new Basque language. I mean, it's not new, but they have to unify all the little dialects, Basque dialects that exist. So that way, it was possible to preserve the language for example, in the medias, on TV, on the radio, and also at school. That's why now, if you go, for example, our children are studying in a Basque school. So this way they can learn the official Basque language.
Like the standard.
The standard one.
Okay.
But if you go to the village, to small villages, you still can find the ancient dialects from that village. For example, in Gorka's village, they still speak the old Basque.
One version of the old Basque.
So, for example, our child is lucky that he can learn both. He can learn the old one, and he can learn the new one. No?
Usually, what it happens is that the standard Basque is everyone could understand the standard Basque. Also, the people who speaks the old Basque, but it's hard for people that have learned the standard Basque. It's difficult to understand the old one. But
yeah. Well, but anyway, was the solution that was found in the 19th century to preserve those little, the little languages, Basque languages that exist here. And also we have a history of wars here as well in Spain. And because of the political situation when the dictatorship here, it was a dictatorship that lasts for
40 years.
40 years or so. And it was really hard with the small languages that weren't Spanish here. Actually, they started to forbidden.
Yeah,
it started to be forbidden. Yeah. Because the dictator only wanted people to speak Spanish, so that was very dangerous for the language because people started to be afraid of speaking Basque here, and it was a shame. Really a shame. And there have been many situations that have put the language in risk. Also because, for example, in my village, the people went to the south with the ships, and they started to speak Spanish because they had to go with the ships so that the ships could have grass to eat. Because we live in the mountains, so in winter it's not possible for the ships to eat. Then people went to the south so that the ships could eat. Yeah, and they started to speak Spanish, and when they came back again to the mountains, they started to speak Spanish with their families, and so the language started to be lost as well. So there have been many things that that have put in risk this language. That's why we think it's important now that it is growing a lot again because of the Basque schools and all that. So yes, we just wanted to contribute.
The songs that you wrote in Basque on the record, what are those songs about?
Yeah, it is just one song,
Okay.
Otoi,
Yeah.
and it talks about all this. It's a metaphor, but that is talking about all that I have been talking here. The connection between the society and nowadays society and nature, and the connection with the roots, the loss of cultural identity, and all this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, it's not the first time that we use Basque. I think that we have used it.
Yeah, but only in a few sentences.
Yeah,
not
not
song.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we think it's important. Also, not only because we think it's important to preserve the language, but also because it has its own sound. Usually we use English because we think that our music English fits perfectly in our music, but sometimes there are other languages that adds something to your music. So yeah, it's also that.
Yeah, the sound is different. It sounds like old, mysterious, and
yeah.
Talk more about that, because that's a very interesting concept about how like the language part of your music is also like any other melody that is a part of the songs.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think language is like sonoridad. How do you say? The sound of each language has something special, so that can fit in one music style or another. It's like, yeah. When we are talking is someone said once that our accent, for example, our Spanish accent is in the north is like if we were singing the whole day. I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
It kind of is, because sometimes you'll talk to somebody and there's the regular voice is a lot different than what you're singing, but yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
When somebody is listening to this new album, what do you hope they get out of it? What do you hope your fans get out of listening to this?
Oh, well, we have always been a very diverse band. We don't want to just stick to one genre, and we like to try different things and add new feelings in our music and new sceneries, and so I hope people don't get bored listening to it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really eclectic, and each song has a different atmosphere. And
yeah, we always say that it's important that you never listen for the same type of music every day and every time. You always listen different songs or different artists because they gives you a different feeling. So we always try in our albums that, yeah, as Laura said, people not get bored. So that's why we try to introduce different elements, different styles, so that people can listen the whole album in a row. We understand that nowadays it's difficult because people are all the time, connected to Facebook, Instagram, and all that. But we try that people not get bored listening the whole album.
Yeah, but because it's what we like to do. When we are listening to a band or whatever, we always like to find new things and new feelings. If not, you get easily bored. So we try to just do what we like to listen. If I like to listen that, I try to write that kind of music too. And we are not limited because we are musicians and we love to listen to many different styles of music. And this is something we have tried to do again. and you will find on the album many different music styles. So I think that's exciting, and hope people like it.
Great. Yeah, I'm really digging the album. Before we get out of here, I always like to ask this question of people. What's sort of a lesson, like a nugget of knowledge from your lives or career that anybody listening to this, it doesn't matter what sort of avenue of artistry that they're in, they could sort of project into their own lives?
Well, we talk a lot about overcoming oneself. So when you think that something is almost impossible to do, just think that it isn't if you really want to do it. I mean, it's our experience has been that way. Many people still ask us if we are still doing music, as if it was something you can just leave apart. I mean, we are musicians, of course, we do music. Maybe we are not doing it as often as we did before having children, but this is something we do because it's part of our life. So if you really are motivated and you really want to do something, you can do it despite the difficulties. So the main message for us is just to be perseverant and to insist on what you really want to do, and for sure you will do it if you really want to do it. And that's, overcoming oneself. Yeah, it's the main.
Great. It's been great talking with you, Zub. Great talking with you, Gorka. Before we get out here, where can people go online to get more information about Diabulus and Musica and the new album, You Find Entropy?
Mm-hmm. They can go to our website. It's diabulusinmusica.com. And there you will find all the links to our social networks. They can subscribe to our newsletter. So just go to the website and all the info is there.
Also we try to be always active on the social media. So if we get messages, and we try to answer them all and be in touch with our fans, because we really think it's very important. We really like to have the feedback of our fans and listeners. And I think that is something that keeps us very motivated when someone is telling they like your music, and or just to discuss about the songs or whatever. We try always to be there and have that relationship with our listeners too.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the reasons why Euphonic Entropy is released, because we had the feeling and the feedback from the people that they asked for a new album, and we say like, wow, it's already time to release a new one. So
because we were so the new situation was not easy, so we just almost forgot to not forgot, because we really wanted to do music, but it was something that was not on that moment in our minds. And then we had an interview, and the guy who was doing the interview really motivated us, because he said that I really love your music, please continue doing it, because and then we said, okay, if people likes it.
That's a nice thing to hear.
So it was very important for us to listen to him, because he really said very beautiful things towards us and our music, and so we decided to do it, and we were motivated enough to write this beautiful album, because I think it's beautiful. I think it's one of the best albums we have written so far, and one of the strongest and heaviest one, and full of new atmospheres. And so I hope you like it, and keep in touch in the socials.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, thank you for listening to this episode of Fresh is the Word, hosted and produced by myself, Kelly K. Fresh Frazier, empowered by Anchor at anchor.fm/Fresh is the Word. Intro theme music by Foulmouth, Shimmy Bango, and Knox Money. Fresh is the Word is available on all major streaming platforms. Please rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Stitcher. If you want to support Fresh is the Word, please consider pledging via Patreon at patreon.com/Fresh is the Word. Follow Fresh is the Word on social media on Twitter at Fresh is the Pod, on Instagram at Fresh is the Word Podcast, and join the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Fresh is the Word. For more information about Fresh is the Word and our other podcasts, Breaking Records and Renaissance Soul, and a collection of pop culture articles and reviews, please visit freshasthepodcast.com. Thank you for listening and your support. Goodbye and good night.
Fresh is the word.